Hello, everyone. So as I sit in Houston traffic, and head on my way home, I wanted to jump on real quick because I want to talk about implicit bias. Implicit bias is basically when we as human beings attribute stereotypical thoughts, processes, ideas, and existences to people based on our own belief structure and what our lived experiences are. So, an example of implicit bias is that black men are dangerous because they're black. They're big, they're scary, they're violent, they're whatever, and your implicit bias, because of the fact that you think that way, or because of the fact that your society has reinforced that to you, when you see a black man walking down the street, will lock your car doors or secure your purse or cross the street to the other side. So that's just an example of implicit bias. And does it go, both ways? Absolutely. It goes both ways. For black people, when we see police officers, we clinch because our implicit bias tells us that police officers are dangerous and that they don't care about us. And so we are going to have to, we have to have conversations with our black boys and girls and let them know that, when you encounter a police officer, you have to talk to them this way and you have to keep your hands visible and you have to, all the things and the stuff, right? Okay. So I want to talk about, in regard to implicit bias, how it has influenced the powder keg that is the United States of America today and what we can do to combat that. Yes? So a friend of mine gave me a story today about how when she was at home with her children, she encountered a young, tall, beefy, white guy walking across her lawn, tattooed up, bald head, everything, walking across her lawn. Her daughter was like, "Who's that?" She said, "I don't know." She went for her gun. Like, bip, bam, boom. Like, that was the order in which the situation had happened. She called her husband. She was like, "Are you expecting anybody?" He was like, "No." She went to her front door with her gun. Ready. This is a black woman, by the way. Yes? Her implicit bias told her, because of the town that she grew up in and because of the lived experience that she had, that the KKK and skinheads can come for you at any moment. In her neighborhood, in North, Harris County, where diversity is real and all kinds of people live in all kinds of neighborhoods together, seemingly harmoniously, this is where she was, and this is what she defaulted to. Why did she have that? Because her implicit bias told her that the KKK and skinheads can come for you at any moment, right? So what am I getting at? Because that sounds like profiling, doesn't it? It sounds like she profiled this white guy to think that he was dangerous and was going to come harm her because of what he looked like. So you say, well, isn't that exactly what you complain about white people doing to black guys? You don't want them to just automatically feel like, oh my God, you're dangerous because of what you look like. But then here she is doing that same thing, right? Here's the problem I have with that. The problem I have with that is that implicit bias for black people looking at tattooed, bald-headed white guys in the South is a proven thing. The KKK did, in fact, terrorize black people. Skinheads do, in fact, come for people. Right now, in North Minnesota, white supremacist groups are burning black-owned businesses in North Minnesota right now. And these people have been confirmed to be in white supremacist group by county officials. And in all of the protests and the rebellion and the everything else that we have going on, it has been identified time and again that the instigators for any kind of melee or, dysfunction, disorderly, whatever, has either been the police, like it was in Houston yesterday, From a first-hand account, I got that information. So it's either the police or it's white people. That implicit bias has been checked. Implicit bias for black people. When we first came to this country in 1619, we, along with the natives that were here, and the 10 years that Americans, right, the colonizers, came to America, and in the 10 years that they were here from 1609 to 1619, they wiped out more than half of the native population for fun, for resources, because they could, because their weapons were more advanced than those of the natives. They would trick the natives into buying and selling, growing corn and harvesting and everything. And then right before the harvest, they would take out the whole neighborhood. They would take out the entire village and then reap everything for themselves. Telling the natives, we're friends. No, you're going to share this with me? Okay, cool. And then when it came time for harvest, once the work was done, they would just kill the natives like, oh, we don't need them anymore. We have food now. Because natives were savages. Because blacks were savages. Savagery. So, when they came to this country, the bias that was created was, these people are less than. These people are dangerous. We have to control them. We have to, what is the word? Subjugate them. That's the word I'm looking for. We have to subjugate them because they don't know what's good for them. And then what happens when you try and make a people do stuff they don't want to do? They rebel. And so because they rebelled, right, I'm going to give you guys another psychological term. You ready for this one? Self-fulfilling prophecy then came into play. They're savages. In my opinion, John Q. White man that comes from the boat onto this new land, those are savages. We have to subjugate them. They don't know Jesus. They're going to be dangerous. We subjugate them. They rebel. Look, I told you they were dangerous. But first, when you came, they gave you their stuff willingly. They gave you their whatever willingly. They gave you their weapons. They gave you their food. They gave you their jewelry. They showed you their families willingly. You said they were dangerous. So then when you became aggressive toward them and then the aggression was returned, they're dangerous. Same thing with black people. Black people, when they came to the United States of America, there were already 1 million black folks in South America, Central America, and the Caribbean. The United States of America was the last place to get slaves, right? So black Africans were brought to this country under the guise of, these are slaved people. They're not people. They're not human beings. They are slaves. We are coming here. There's a Dutch ship, and I have 20 black men that I'm going to trade for goods or money because they are cargo. They are property. They are big. They are hardy. They are more sturdy than the natives. This is a good look. And the people in Jamestown were literally dying because they couldn't do anything. They couldn't keep up. So they were starved for labor, and they couldn't do white labor because white labor was only servitude, which means that eventually I will gain my freedom and then I will be able to start in a new land. They couldn't do the natives because the natives were too, bombastic. They were too contentious. So the natives would fight against them and then go and run into the bush because I know this shit. This is my land. You can't come after me. I know where I'm at, and I'm going to sit from my lofty perch and I'm going to watch you and I'm going to laugh at you. So they gave up on the natives being their slaves. So they needed somebody that was taken away from their culture, taken away from their whatever, and brought to a new place and had no defenses. And then subjugate them. And then what happened? The subjugation worked, but it didn't work. Because blacks fought against them the entire time. The entire time they fought against them. So what? Because they're bigger, they're badder, they're stronger, they're faster, they're this, they're that, they're this, they're that, all the things that black people are. Hashtag black girl magic, hashtag black boy joy, right? Because we are what we are, and we utilize the gifts that God gave us to be fast, to be cunning, to be this, to be that. You label us dangerous in our subjugation. So you enact harsher punishments on us than you have for anybody else. And then it continued for 400 years. Passed down like some whack-ass oral history from family to family, generation to generation, telling your people that, black people are dangerous, so you got to watch out for them. And not for nothing, even if your words never said it, your children saw how you puckered when black people walked in the room. Your children are watching you when you laugh at racist jokes. Your children are watching you when you have house parties and everybody looks the same. So even if you're not saying it with your mouth, your actions are speaking louder than your words are anyway. And then your children follow in your footsteps. When you become upset because that family moved into the neighborhood, your children are watching you. Even if your reasoning is something other than explicitly, they're black and they're going to bring down our property values. Which, not for nothing, why the hell would black people bring down the damn property value? Oh, but guess what? It happens, doesn't it? Okay. Implicit bias is our number one public enemy in racism. Because implicit bias begets racism. And racism begets implicit bias. They go hand in hand. They are sisters in arms. If you dismantle one, the other one will fall. So if you don't want to tackle racism all the way together, you don't want to admit that you're like racist light, you don't want to admit that you do racist-ish type crap, you want to do that? That's cool. What you need to do is look at your implicit biases. Think about how you think about people. Think about how you think about situations. Think about what you think about what's going on. And think about how you teach your kids, right? So I've been commenting all over social media, like, please see our color. I've been saying it in our videos, like, please see our color. The reason why I'm saying that is because I'm trying to challenge your implicit bias. Because even if you are one of the dopest white people I know, and I know some pretty dope ass white people, like, for real, I really do. Even if you're one of the dopest white people I know, you may end up getting caught up in the fray, and we all do it. We all do it, right? So if your implicit bias is telling you something, really arrest it in your mind and interrogate it. Ask it questions. Why did I do that? Why did I say that just now? Why did I think that just now? And not for nothing, check it out against the fact. Because the fact is what's going to get you home. If your implicit bias tells you, you know what, I have a reason to be scared of police officers right now, then by all means, continue your implicit bias and keep yourself safe. But if you don't have a reason to believe that you are in danger, you need to check that implicit bias. Check it. Find out what the hell is going on with it. Ask it questions. Figure out what the hell, and ask your black friends, because we're here for you. Okay? All right. Well, I'm glad that we had this chat. By all means, go ahead and give me a call if you'd like. If you already have my phone number, and if you don't, you don't for a reason. Okay. And then also, by all means, comment below, ask questions. Let me know what you think. Let's start a conversation. I'm always here for a dialogue. Okay? So, let me know. I'll see you guys tomorrow.